the secret code that compels you to follow the crowd. Hey, have you ever wondered why, all of a sudden, everyone seems to be wearing the same sneakers, listening to the same song, or using the same buzzword? It's no coincidence. And the answer is much, much deeper than you think. Today we're going to take a journey together, a descent through 5 levels of understanding about the psychology of the masses. We'll start on the surface, with what everyone thinks they know, and descend into the darkest and most fascinating depths of the human mind. I promise you one thing. When we're done, you'll never look at a fad, a trend, or a crowd the same way again. Ready for the descent? Okay, let's start with level 1, the surface everyone knows. The first thing that comes to mind is the word conformity. It's simple, we want to fit in. Think of the high school cafeteria. You see a group laughing and you approach, laughing at their jokes, even if you don't quite understand them. It's not that you're being fake, it's that your brain is programmed to seek group acceptance. It's the most basic instinct of all, to be part of the tribe. Then there's conformity's close cousin, social proof. What's that? Imagine you're in an unfamiliar city looking for a place to eat dinner. You see 2 restaurants, one empty and one full of people. Which one do you go into? The full one, right? Because your brain whispers to you, if so many people are there, it must be for a reason. They know more than you do. We use others as a mental shortcut to make decisions, from what show to watch to what to invest in. And this is not new. To understand where it comes from, we have to travel back in time. Imagine our ancestors on the African savannah. If you saw your entire clan suddenly run off, you wouldn't stop to ask, hey, why are we running? You'd run, because there was probably a saber-toothed tiger nearby. The one who stayed to investigate didn't leave descendants. Following the crowd wasn't an option, it was the species' life insurance. That panic of being left behind is etched into our DNA. And that evolutionary heritage today has a very modern name, FOMO, or fear of missing out. It's that anxiety you feel when you see pictures of a party you weren't at. It's the engine behind limited editions and viral trends. But stop and think for a second, why do we care so much? Why can something as trivial as not having the latest trendy phone generate such real and physical anguish? What we've just seen, conformity, social proof, our survival instinct, is the tip of the iceberg. It's what everyone knows, the easy explanation we give in a coffee shop conversation. It's the what of the matter. But if this is what we see on the surface, what secret engines drive it from beneath? It's time to dive in. Welcome to level 2. This is where things get interesting. Remember how we talked about conformity, about how we want to fit in? Well, in the 1950s, a psychologist named Solomon Asch conducted an astonishing experiment. He put one person in a room with a group of actors and showed them 2 cards, one with a line and another with 3 lines of different sizes. The task was simple. Say which of the 3 lines was the same as the first. The actors on purpose started giving the wrong answer. And what happened? 75% of the participants denied the evidence of their own eyes at least once to agree with the group. They denied reality to avoid being the odd one out. This isn't just wanting to fit in, it's a power capable of rewriting what we see. This leads us to an invisible rule that our brain follows: informational social influence. It sounds technical, but it's super simple. It's what your brain does when it's unsure about something. Imagine there's an emergency in a shopping mall. If everyone runs towards exit A, you run towards exit A. Not because you want to be like them, but because your brain assumes they have information you don't. It's a mechanism of blind trust in the wisdom of the group when we feel lost. And here's a factory error of our brain that comes into play, a cognitive bias called the bandwagon effect. Think of software with a bug. It automatically likes what's popular. Our brain does the same. Not only do we follow the crowd, but the larger the crowd, the more we believe their choice is the right and best one. It's a vicious circle. Popularity generates a belief in quality, which in turn generates more popularity. This has very deep anthropological roots. Let's think about the rituals of ancient tribes. Why did they dance and sing together for hours, moving to the same rhythm? Because bodily synchronization creates a feeling of merging. The boundaries of the self dissolve and you feel part of something larger. That feeling is incredibly powerful. Today, you feel that same explosion of connection at a concert, when thousands of people sing the same song, or in a stadium when your team scores a goal. It's the same echo of a millennia-old ritual. So why do all these mechanisms exist? Because they fulfill one of our most fundamental needs, belonging. We don't follow the masses because we are weak or foolish. We do it because isolation, for our primitive brain, is a death sentence. These mechanisms are the solution evolution found to keep us safe, connected, and part of a community that protects us. And the last gear at this level changes the rules of the game. It's the original idea of a meme by biologist Richard Dawkins. Forget internet memes. A meme is a unit of culture, an idea, a melody, a fashion that replicates and propagates from brain to brain like a virus. And this is key. Maybe it's not us who choose to follow fashion. Maybe it's the catchiest ideas that use us, humans, as vehicles to replicate and survive. Suddenly, we are no longer the protagonists of the story. By understanding these mechanisms, the experiments, the biases, the memes, we stop being mere puppets. We start to see the strings. Understanding these hidden mechanisms not only gives us knowledge about the topic, but also power over ourselves. But if you thought we had it all figured out, prepare yourself, because this is where the story turns into true chaos. It's time to descend to level 3. Welcome to the chaos of reality. First major controversy: are we individuals or are we a collective? On one hand, especially in Western culture, we are sold the idea of the unique individual, the independent thinker who fights against social pressure. On the other hand, many cultures and psychologists argue that this is a fantasy, that we are fundamentally social beings, and that the idea of a self separate from the group is the true illusion. Who is right? There's no easy answer. Now, a secret. Do you know the myth of the lone rebel who changes the world? The genius who locks himself in his garage and emerges with an idea that revolutionizes everything? Well, it's a lie. It's a myth we love because it feeds our ego. The reality is that all great innovators, from artists to scientists, built upon the work of thousands of people before them and were immersed in a collective conversation. We believe in the lone hero because it gives us hope that we alone can be extraordinary. And here's a mind-bending paradox for you: the innovator's paradox. To be cool or stand out, you have to do something different from the masses. But the moment you succeed and people start imitating you to be different like you, that difference becomes the new norm. It becomes the new mass. The very act of succeeding as a nonconformist turns you into the new conformist standard. It's an endless cycle. And now let's get critical. Think about all the marketing and advertising. They know perfectly well how these mechanisms work: our fear of isolation, our need for belonging, and they use them to sell us things. The question is it ethical? Is using these deep psychological triggers to generate artificial desire for a product persuasion? Or is it manipulation? Where's the line? Even our way of viewing the crowd has changed over time. In the 19th century, thinkers like Gustave Le Bon saw the masses as an irrational and dangerous monster, a beast that nullified individual intelligence. Today we talk about the wisdom of crowds, how collective intelligence can solve problems that no single expert could. The same phenomenon seen as a demon and as a genius in different eras. All this leads us to a central dilemma of the human condition. We spend our entire lives trapped between two opposing forces. On one hand, a desperate desire to have a unique identity, to be special, and on the other, an equally desperate need to belong, to be accepted by the group. And our life is the battlefield between these two impulses. As you can see, this level is a mess. The reality of collective behavior is not a simple formula, but a tangle of debates with no clear answers, myths we tell ourselves, and paradoxes that leave us thinking. The truth is messy. All right, you've survived the chaos. Now it's time to see the details that separate the curious from the true connoisseurs. Welcome to Level 4 Expert Knowledge. What I'm about to tell you, you won't find with a quick Google search. It's René Girard's mimetic theory. Girard proposed something radical. We don't desire things directly. We desire what others desire. Desire isn't a straight line between you and an object. It's a triangle between you, another person, the model, and the object. We learn what's desirable by imitating the desires of others. You don't want that car, you want the status you believe the person driving it has. Now, a little neuroscience, but I promise the analogy is great. Have you heard of mirror neurons? Think of them as your brain's Wi-Fi. When you see someone smile, these neurons activate in your brain in the same area that would activate if you were smiling. They allow you to feel, not just understand, what others feel. They are the biological hardware of empathy and the reason why emotions are so contagious in a crowd. Literally, we feel as a group. And let's talk about a forgotten hero. Everyone knows the great sociologist, but few know Gabriel Tarde. In the late 19th century, Tarde had a revolutionary idea that was overshadowed by his rivals, that society itself is nothing more than a gigantic system of intersecting imitations. He said that everything from language to crime propagates by imitation. He was an absolute pioneer in thinking about how ideas go viral long before the internet existed, a true secret architect of this field. Now, a rebel theory that turns everything upside down. It's the theory of complexity and emergence. It argues that major trends and mass behaviors don't need a leader or an influencer to start. They arise spontaneously like a pattern. Think of a flock of birds. There's no lead bird saying now to the left. Each bird follows very simple rules like don't crash into your neighbor and go in the same general direction. And from these simple interactions, a complex and beautiful pattern emerges. Fashions could work the same way, from the bottom up, without an orchestra conductor. And here's a scientific fact that goes against all intuition. Research on the spread of ideas shows that the most important people for a trend to go viral are not the super influencers with millions of followers. They are the easily influenced people. Why? Because these people act as bridges, connecting small groups of friends who would otherwise be isolated. It's your friend who always jumps on every bandwagon who, unknowingly, has the power to make something explode. And now the aha moment that connects everything. It's a concept called threshold models. Imagine each person has a number, a threshold, for joining a trend. Innovators have a threshold of 0 or 1. They dare to go it alone. Others need to see 5 people. Others 20. Others 100. A trend doesn't take off because a celebrity uses it, but when a chain reaction occurs, a cascade that activates the thresholds of more and more people. This unites the idea of innovators, the emergence of patterns, and social proof into a single, elegant explanation. Reaching this level of detail isn't just about accumulating data. It's about gaining a richer, more complex, and ultimately more authentic view of the world. It's about seeing the fine texture of social reality. We've reached the limit of what is known. Do you dare to look beyond, towards the final frontier? It's time to speculate. Welcome to Level 5. Let's look to the future. How will all of this change with artificial intelligence and virtual reality? Imagine algorithms that know our imitation thresholds and biases better than we do, creating personalized trends to manipulate us on an unprecedented scale. Or think of virtual worlds where collective experiences, digital rituals, are so intense they blur the line between our real identity and our hive avatar. And now the deepest question that science as of today cannot answer. If our desires, our beliefs, and even our most intimate emotions are so shaped by social contagion, by what we see in others, does an authentic self truly exist? Or are we deep down a mosaic, an echo of the people around us? Where do others end and you begin? This leads us to a philosophical implication that might blow your mind. What if consciousness wasn't a purely individual phenomenon? What if our individual consciousness is just a node, an access terminal to a collective consciousness of the species, a kind of hive mind that operates through language, culture, and the ideas we share? Perhaps the true thinking organism isn't you, but humanity, and we are just its cells. Thoroughly understanding mass psychology could be the key to our survival. Problems like climate change or a global pandemic are problems of collective action. If we learn to initiate global cascades of cooperative behavior to gently nudge humanity in the right direction, we could solve the greatest challenges of our era. Mastering this is mastering our future. And here I leave you with the last idea, the biggest of them all. In the universe, things tend to unite to form more complex structures. Atoms form molecules, molecules form cells, cells form organisms. What if our irrepressible urge to form groups, societies, and now an interconnected global network isn't just a psychological quirk? What if it's a reflection of a fundamental law of the cosmos? Perhaps by following the crowd, we are not following a simple trend. We are obeying, without knowing it, a pattern of organization woven into the very fabric of the universe. And so, our descent through the 5 levels has ended. We have traveled from the high school cafeteria to the confines of the cosmos. Now, with this new perspective, it's time to contemplate the full picture. When we started this journey, the explanation was simple. We follow people in the school cafeteria to fit in. It was a matter of conformity. And now look where we've arrived. At the idea that our collective behavior could be an echo of the fundamental laws that organize the universe. We have gone from high school psychology to cosmic physics. We have transformed a simple question about trendy sneakers into a meditation on the nature of consciousness and our place in the universe. That is the beauty of asking why. Now it's your turn. From this entire journey, from psychological experiments to cosmic speculation, what idea has impacted you the most or blown your mind the most? I want to know. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I love reading how these ideas resonate with your minds. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for dedicating your time and curiosity to this descent. If you enjoy these deep dives into fascinating topics, subscribe, because we have many more abysses to explore together. See you in the next one.